John Thorrington could be excused if he chose to curse rather than praise the World Cup, since the tournament comes at the worst possible time for his Los Angeles football club. The team Thorrington built as executive vice president of soccer operations is off to the best start of any expansion franchise in MLS history. Advertisement: 8 games into its first season, LAFC is tied for second in the Western Conference in victories, goals and points. But because MLS is the only major First Division league that doesn't take the World Cup off, Saturday's surprisingly difficult 1-1 tie with DC United will be LAFC's last game with forward Carlos Vela and Laurent Ciman until July. Vela left after the game to join Mexico's World Cup team ahead of Monday's friendly with Wales at the Rose Bowl, and Ciman, selected to Belgium's provisional roster, will begin training with the national team next week. Neither Vela, the team's leading scorer, nor Ciman, the team captain, has sat out a minute for LAFC this season. The club is already without Costa Rican forward Marco Arena and Egyptian defender Omar Gabr, who were with their World Cup teams, making the 4 call-ups the most from one MLS team in 2 decades. That doesn't include centre-back Walker Zimmerman, who is gone with the United States national team and isn't expected to return until mid-June, or outside back Steven Beitashour, who sat out Saturday's game because of a hamstring injury. That could leave LAFC without more than half its starting lineup starting next week in Dallas. Yet, Thorrington considers that more a compliment than a concern. Gareth Bale goes from forgotten man to unforgettable goal as Real Madrid wins Champions League final by Kevin Baxter May 26, 2018, 5:50 p.m. "We certainly feel comfortable with the guys that will be playing," he said. "For all of our players that are eligible and have the potential to go play in a World Cup, we are incredibly supportive and hope they do really well, playing Saturday in front of a 5th consecutive sellout crowd of 22,000 at Bank of California Stadium." LAFC sent Vela and Ciman off with a tie after Darren Maddox's late header for DC United 2-5-3 matched Diego Rossi's goal in the first half. Rossi's score, his 5th of the season, came at the end of a busy play in which the ball went from Benny Feilhaber to Marc-Anthony Kaye, then off a couple of defenders before falling at the right foot of the forward, who drove a low shot into the back corner from about 12 yards. LAFC 6-3-3 wound up having to protect that lead with only 10 players, though, after defender Dejan Jakovic was shown his straight red card for a rough sliding tackle that upended Paul Arriola at midfield. That proved to be a bit too much. Vela lost a chance to double the lead on a penalty kick in the 68th minute after referee Ismail Elfath changed his mind about a handball call on United's Zoltan Stieber, who was hit in the arm by Jordan Harvey in the box as he turned away. After a brief video review, Elfath waved off the penalty, and that proved to be costly when Maddox headed in the tying goal 16 minutes later. Advertisement: Arriola set up the score, leaping between 2 defenders to head forward along Joseph Mora cross from the right wing. Ken.Baxter at LATimes.com at Baxter11